we do have a question that just came in from Kathy Palmer. She's asking, what is the asset base of Sunshine Coast Community Foundation?
Oh, about 700,000. We're new. We've been in operation now for 7 years, and our population base is 28,000 people, and we've just turned the corner on $700,000 in assets. 700,000.
Great. Waiting for more questions.
Okay. Well, let's give it another minute. But if there's not, it could be that we answered them all, and it also could be that people want to kind of absorb, regroup, and if they have more questions, they'll get in touch directly, and that's also totally fine.
Sarah, I might just reiterate what you said about BC. If there's anybody on this call today from BC that's not aware of our BC Vital Signs call next week, it's on December the 7th, and if you want to get involved, please get a hold of Barb McMillan and get on with us.
Okay, Marlo, was that everything that we got?
We just got one in from Paul, and I'm going to mispronounce his last name, Schachter. It says, is there a guide on how to do the research? Can research tasks be assigned to different community groups?
There is, yes, so there's definitely some guidance. The way the research is structured, and I'll talk for just a minute or two about this, because I do think it's one of the more nervousness-inducing parts of the project. So there's a few prongs. The first one is that when you sign up to participate in the program, Community Foundations of Canada will add your community or communities to the list of communities that our researcher here in Ottawa is gathering data for. So that'll be one source, and you'll receive quite early, like around March, a list of what is being collected. But I do think it's appropriate for me at this point to warn you that, especially if you're in a small community, there will be data, but there won't be tons and tons, because many national sources just don't do the sampling size necessary to have data for small communities. So that's one source, and it's nonetheless an important source of data. The second approach that most communities take is that they hire at the local level either an independent consultant, or they partner with a local university or college or think tank or some organization with capacity around statistics to go into all of the databases that might be available, and those would be, for example, provincial government databases, municipal government databases, school boards, fire departments, police services. Local charities often have statistics that they're keeping on the services they provide, et cetera, and pull all that together for you. And that's a very involved process, because, of course, you're going to want to start by being specific about, well, these are the issues, these are the sorts of things that we would be looking for. The best way to do that, in my view, is actually just to read through a nice sampling of previous reports and just get a flavor for the kinds of things foundations have been able to find, and then task whoever is doing this. And it doesn't actually have to be an outside consultant. In some foundations, it actually is an inside staff or volunteer to be looking for that kind of thing. And our experience is that you often find that you get into a really good relationship with, for example, a staff person at your municipality or regional government who sees the opportunity of working closely with you to get all of these facts that they have about the community out there, and they see the platform that you're going to offer. And you can often get a bit of a tidal wave that way. So that's the second pipeline into your process. But CFC is able to provide quite a lot of support around what that can look like. We're also able to provide you with pretty detailed guidance about how to conceive of what makes a good indicator. So we have some guidance around, for example, looking for things that are published regularly, not just one time, et cetera, how to evaluate whether data is of good quality and reliable. We can provide guidance on all those sorts of things. But indeed, this is one of the most intimidating parts of the process, and one that I think at some point everyone has a bit of a, oh my gosh, about, but everyone gets through it. Would you add anything to that, Don?
Yes, I would. I want to make the point that one of the strengths of Vital Signs is accountability and accuracy. And if you're going to go looking for local data that's not going to be collected nationally or by a credible research source, be very careful to make sure that what you're getting is good quality stuff, because you will be judged in your community as to whether what you said is right or not. And there'll always be that community expert that says, where'd you get this from? That's not right. So just that little cautious note. Otherwise, I think you hit it right on the head, Sarah.
We've had a couple more questions. A couple people are asking if we can get copies of slides today rather than tomorrow, because some people are having meetings or talking to other groups about this.
Yes, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of what's the best way to share it. Marlo, are you able to tell me, when people registered for this webinar, did they provide an email address?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what I would suggest then is that yes, I can get those. I mean, I'm going to basically just send you precisely what you saw on the screen along with the notes, but you know, I'll do a little tidying up. But yes, I can do that, you know, right now essentially. And can it be shared through whatever sort of database was built up through the registration easily?
Fairly easily.
Okay, so Marlo, you and I can work together to do that today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the answer is yes.
George Hall is asking, what's the drop-dead deadline to commit to Vital Signs? Board agreements, budget, etc. need to be in place?
That's a very good question, and one that I'm going to have to admit I don't have firmly in my mind yet. I would say you should be thinking about this in a sense, not just because of CFC's program activities, but frankly because, especially if you're a small foundation, you're not going to want to bunch up all the work in the spring and summer. You're going to want to try and get moving as early as possible. I'm trying to recall off the top of my head what the application deadline was last year. I believe it's in February at some time. So I would estimate for our purposes, for CFC's purposes, we will be asking everybody to commit by about March 1st, I think. But for your purposes, you probably wouldn't want to go later than that anyways, because you'll want to start planning your program.